everyone. With Easter coming, I want to host a little garden picnic party for my family. So I made this cute table. Let me show you how I did it. Okay, so this is the materials that we're gonna need for our little table. Starting with a piece of plywood. So what I have here is a 3/4 inch, 2 feet by 4 feet plywood. This is gonna be my tabletop. Now here I have 4 little legs. These are 14 inches tall, and I got them from Home Depot. They already have a little bit of stain because I stained them a long time ago. And now for sanding, you're gonna need a sander, or you can use like a hand one. It's really up to you, whatever you have available. Next you're gonna need is some sandpaper. So I have a few. It depends on how soft you want the tabletop to be. So I'm gonna start with a 40 grit. So it's pretty rough. So I want to remove like a lot of the indentions and the paint. It has some like paint all over it. So I want to remove that with this one. And then from there, I'm gonna go for a 60. And the last grit that I'm gonna use is a 220. You probably don't need to go any lower than this, but it's really up to you, whatever you prefer, because we're gonna put some lacquer on top of it, and this is gonna make the table pretty smooth. So yes, I'm gonna use some sandpaper, and don't forget your masks because it gets pretty dusty, so make sure that you use a mask. And then from here I am going to need 4 of these. So these are to attach the little legs to the tabletop. So I got these from Home Depot too, in the same spot where I found the legs, they were there. And a drill. I mean, you can use a little, how do you call this? A screwdriver. And a measuring tape. So this is to make sure that the brackets or the hardware is even on each corner of your table. You really don't have to, you can just eyeball it, but if you want to make sure that everything is even, I will measure. So next is some stain. So you can use whatever stain you want, or even paint. You can just paint it. It's really up to you, but I really like the look they get whenever I use stain and with a lacquer on top of it. So it will be a good idea to use some gloves just to protect your fingers from the stain. But yeah, so, and a brush for your stain. Last we have the lacquer. It's called a spar urethane. This is to create it's almost like a plastic layer on top of the wood. It helps you with water, and like especially if you're gonna use the table for kids, if they spill juice or water on it, that way your wood is protected and it's gonna last longer. So I really like this stuff. That is all we need. So now let me show you how I built the table. Let's get to work. So I'm using a 40 grit to remove the stains on the wood. So there is like paint on it or something on it. So I'm using the 40 to remove that. The 40 is gonna remove a lot of the wood. So you need to be careful. Try not to press too much on it, and make sure that you're going even, because if you press a lot in one spot, it's gonna make like waves and it will make big scratches. So it's gonna be hard to get off. So be careful how you are sanding it. I'm gonna focus more on going even, but still focusing on the big stains on the wood. So after I'm done with the 40, after I see that all the big stains are gone, I'm gonna go up to the 60. and I'm gonna work myself up all the way to the 220 until the wood is nice and soft. So now I am all done sanding the tabletop. It's pretty soft, and I got rid of all the paint on it. So I gave it a good dust because it had a lot of dust from the sanding. So it's ready to go for stain. The stain that I'm using is the Rust-Oleum Wood Stain Dark Walnut. So I really like this one because I want the table to have more of a darker tone to it than so much of a light color. I'm gonna use a brush to stain it. You can probably use like a rag or something like that. Just don't forget your gloves because that stuff will stain your skin. And the legs. I gave the legs a little sanding, very light sanding, just kind of like with my hand to remove like the rough edges on it. And they are stained with this one. So yeah, it's ready to go. Let's add some stain. So it's the next day. Last night it got too dark, but I did get to finish staining the tabletop. And this morning I saw it and I thought it was way too dark. So what I did is I used like a hand sander and I just lightly went over it to remove some of the stain, and it did work. So now it's a little bit lighter, and I gave the legs another coat because I thought they were way too light and they wouldn't match the tabletop. So now they're perfect. So the next step is I will be adding these thingies, the hardware. I'm gonna add them to the tabletop, and then we will get adding the clear coat. So I went ahead and attached the hardware to the tabletop. How I did that was I measured 3 inches from the top and 3 inches from the side. Then I used my hardware package to draw straight lines. My hardware has a hole in the middle, so I centered it where both lines met. Then I just used my drill to attach the hardware to the tabletop. So after I attached the hardware to the tabletop, I clear coated the legs. And I did this by screwing the legs to the hardware because it was easier for me to apply the clear coat. So after I clear coated the legs, I let them dry overnight, and then I gave the tabletop 3 clear coats, and it's all dry and ready to go. Let me show you how it looks. So this is it. I'm really happy with it. It looks so pretty and it's pretty smooth. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.